Go ahead then, Rich.
Go ahead, what?
Sing it.
Forgiveness is more than saying sorry.
I forgive you for that bad singing. What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone?
That's 4.
I forgive you for that bad intro.
Yeah, that's 4.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back
That's
to
3.
a brand new episode of the Almost Brothers podcast. Thank you for joining us yet again today. We love you so much. We are excited for this episode. Tyler, how you doing?
Rock and roll.
Every episode now is going to be that.
I'm doing good. I'm good.
Rich, how you doing?
I'm fantastic.
I love y'all, man. This has been a fun day, and I'm excited for the rest of today and tomorrow.
Love your faces.
Super excited. On today's episode, we are talking about, you heard it from Richard first, forgiveness.
You heard it badly here.
It's a tough one. Forgiveness. Zeke, love you.
You don't have time for you.
This is tough, man. This is going to be a tough one, talking about forgiveness and how every person on the planet, regardless of your background, regardless of how much money you got, regardless of your religious affiliation, this is something we all need to do better at. Mm-hmm. So why is this just so hard?
Well,
why is it so hard?
Because it generally comes with self-reflection and
Humility.
and a change of attitude on our behalf.
Yeah.
In order to get to that point to where we can forgive somebody.
Yeah. For me, it's so hard because it's our job to forgive that other person regardless of if they're asking for forgiveness.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So it teeters on that line of me forgiving them is saying it's okay.
Right.
And it's tough, man. It's like, but they're not sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
I know they're not sorry. They've done it 1,000 times,
1,001.
Yeah. And it's like, so that's where it's hard for me, is like just swallowing that hurt and that pain and the things that you're going through.
Well, I feel like that's why it's a hard thing, is because it almost feels like you're having to say it's okay, whatever it is they did or said, when that's not the case.
Yeah.
By forgiving, you're not by any means condoning what happened or anything like that. But that's sort of what we start to attribute forgiveness to, is saying it's okay. It's
right.
It's not whatever it is. But that's not what it is. And we hold on to, like you said, you hold on to that pain, and you start growing bitter with it. Yeah. And then you start growing in that bitterness, and that makes it even harder to forgive.
Because that unforgiveness, it doesn't affect that person, it affects you. It starts eating at you, and it seeps into all of your relationships, and it's just not good for you.
Well, because exactly that thing happened, I don't know if I've talked about it on here or not, but I was molested as a child by my cousin, and it was exactly that situation. I had to forgive him for myself, but it felt like letting him off the hook.
Yeah.
Like he didn't do anything to earn that forgiveness. And again, it's not about him. It was eating me up. So, having to let go of all that pain, it had to happen for me.
Yeah.
For my relationship with God, just to be able to move past that.
Well, I've heard this saying that having unforgiveness towards somebody is like swallowing poison and expecting them to die.
Right. That's
it's
exactly
just
right.
eating you up. They're living their best life.
Right.
But it's eating you up. So being able to kind of let that go and say, you know what, it's not right. It's not okay, but I've got to forgive you for me.
Right. But at the same time, You do not have to put yourself in that same situation
Right.
over and over again.
Well, I think a lot of people that do the hurting, that's the way they see. That's the way they see the situation. As
Right.
well, why aren't you texting me or calling me and you haven't forgiven me? It's like, no, I have. I can no longer put myself in that space anymore. I forgive you. I'm just not going to allow you to do that again.
Right.
You know, and it's, you could do both. You could have self-preservation. Like, this is for me. I need to remove myself from you. I hope the best for you, but I forgive you, but I can't be around you.
Well, I have forgiven my cousin, but I'm not going to have my kids around him.
Right. It's just like, no, that's not how God wants us to live. You know, you don't just keep allowing yourself to get trampled over.
Right.
Like, you know, and that's what a lot of people look at Christians in that light. Like, well, aren't you supposed to forgive? And it's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean just let people run over you.
Yeah.
And that comes from biblical ignorance.
Right.
Just not knowing what the word says about it.
Right. And I know, Tyler, I know you've talked about this lately, just kind of how that bitterness begins to build up, and like you just start thinking about it, and it's just like, oh, why am I so angry?
And it sucks because you start feeling bitter about that, and it really, like I said, it kind of filters into different aspects of your life, and you start feeling just bitter all around.
Yeah.
And the part that sucks about it is, especially after you're acknowledging that bitterness and you're getting tired of the bitterness, you start wrestling with that, because on one hand, you're hurt, you don't want to forgive. On the other hand, I'm tired and I want to get this over with.
Right.
But it's a mental, emotional, like, battle with yourself, because at least for me right now, it's because on one hand, I want to forgive. On the second hand, I'm still bitter about everything that happened, whatever.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been working with Paul Pierce on songwriting stuff, and one of the things he was telling me is when he writes, he writes about the things that he's experiencing, going through, and I kind of took that a little bit, and I actually started writing a song on forgiveness. And one of the lines I'm actually pretty proud of is, "Forgiving is to set us free, but forgetting's not that easy for me."
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
And that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Right.
Is I want to forgive and get past this and feel and just release all that bitterness for me, but it's hard because I remember.
Yeah. And if you're not careful, you'll carry that into another relationship and put that on someone else that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, you see that a lot in dating relationships where so-and-so was hurt in the past and now they don't trust anybody new, and the person new has to fight through all that, you know, all that distrust and all that hurt and all that pain, and it makes it tough on them, and it's unfair.
Yeah. And the misconception is that that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, my old boyfriend cheated on me, so now I expect that you're going to.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Now I have trust issues.
That's
It's like,
no. That
we
wasn't
just
me.
met. We just started dating.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? Yeah, we make that okay in our own head.
Right.
Like, oh, it's okay. We think that's what it means to self-preserve, is that, okay, I just won't trust the next person.
Right.
And that's not what that is. You know, it's unfair.
Yeah.
And we miss out on a lot of good relationships because of that.
Right.
You know, and there are a lot of good things. And, you know, I don't want to go to that job because it reminds me of an old job I had that they treated me poorly. Well, that doesn't mean the new job is going to do that. So, you know, and it goes with everything. It goes with relationships and dating and friendships and all of those things, man. And so my next question is, we know it's hard to forgive others. How come it's so hard to forgive ourselves?
Because we are our own worst enemy and critic and all that.
Yeah.
You know, because we know ourselves, usually know ourselves better than anyone else does. And that requires self-reflection, humility, and all these things that are just for us as just natural, selfish human beings to do that.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is, regardless of what the word says, I still feel like I shouldn't be forgiven.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I never feel like I do enough or say the right things or do the right things in order to earn that forgiveness that God gives freely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I still feel like we have a role to play in that forgiveness. You know, we need to try and earn that forgiveness, even if we can't. We need to try and do our best to earn it. But I struggle with that. I struggle with just feeling like it's
Feeling
not,
you're worthy of it.
yeah. And it's I don't know. It's just hard for me to vocalize that, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it's I mean, that's just a natural thing. You see yourself as not worthy of something as great as eternal life.
Right.
And it's there. It's was it Romans 8:28 or 3:20 something shaped like an 8 where Paul was talking shaped like, I can't remember if it was an 8 or half an 8. That's a 3.
On today's math lesson with Almost Brothers.
Oh my God.
Paul was talking, right? It was Paul that wrote Romans.
Continue. Yes.
Yes.
I'm no Bible scholar. But it was leave me alone.
I'm like, if you get to it, I can tell you. I don't know what you're going to say.
It was the verse where it's talking about, like, even though I'm the worst of the worst.
The cheapest
Christ
of sinners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Christ
died for
me.
well, we're still sinners. Christ died for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that it? Romans 8:28.
I had to
don't
look
know.
at. Yeah,
I think it might have been.
It's so funny.
And that, for me, that kind of gives me encouragement, because if that's someone saying, I feel the exact same way,
Right.
but we need to acknowledge that even though we feel this way.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, no, I think that's all things work for the good. That's
Okay.
Romans 8:28.
Okay, I'll have to find the other one.
You gotta find the address.
Yeah. But it's and I get to a place where I start feeling that, and I'm like, well, I need to believe that what the Bible says is true.
Right.
Yeah.
So I need to align what I think
And
about
that-
myself to that.
And that's really easy to say.
It's easiest, yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just- it's easy to live out daily.
Yeah. Well, I've really been struggling with this the past couple weeks. With Jordan. So my best friend from school took his own life not too long ago, and it was a real struggle with me. Like, when I got there, it was just really tough to kind of see his parents and his grandparents, and I didn't even realize like that he was struggling like this, that he was really going through some stuff that he just couldn't get over. And it got to the point to where I told Jamie, like, when I went up to his casket, man, I'm just like, I'm sorry that I didn't know this, like that this was something I didn't know that he was going through. And I had to like leave the room and go to another room. And I was struggling with forgiving myself for not being there in that, like in those moments with him, and like knowing, like, man, this is one of my best friends in the world, and I didn't know he was struggling like this. Like, I feel like I failed as a friend, and it's like, I talked to his mom, and I'm like, I'm so sorry that I had no idea that he was struggling like this. And of course we can't put that on ourselves, but I really struggled for like the past, since then, like, why did I not reach out? Why did I not know this? Why could I not been the one that called him at the right time, or that said, hey man, are you doing okay? Instead of just, hey bud, man, I love you. I hope everything's going good. So it's been a struggle for me to kind of forgive myself over the fact that I didn't know that he was struggling like that. So I've said it before a million times, like I'm kind of my own worst enemy, but it just really like struck me like, man, I've got to do a better job at being a friend that's not just a friend in the good times, but also a friend that that wants to be there for his buddies to struggle in. And then like being better at forgiving myself for my shortcomings, because I get real tough on myself, many times when I've struggled in the past, or when I struggle being a good dad or a good husband or being a good friend, man. So this is kind of a subject that has been real tough for me the past few weeks, and it's been hard to sleep, and kind of just something that's been like weighing on my heart. Just like, man, I wish I was kind of just better, just all around better. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is just forgiving yourself for falling short and not being as good or as far as you wanted to be and that you hoped on being. And, I think that's something that people just really struggle with, is just, man, just forgive yourself. Like, you're going to fall, you're going to fail, you're going to fall short. Just, try to pick up and do better tomorrow. Try to pick up and keep moving forward tomorrow. And, if that's you out there and either you're struggling, by yourself, or you're struggling forgiving yourself, like, give yourself room to mess up and to fall short.
And I think you hit the nail on the head with that. Is just doing better. It's progress over perfection. We just have to do better every day.
Well, it's hard in situations like that, because we're only human. We only know so much, and we can only do so much. And putting a lot of weight on yourself like that, you got to remind yourself to give yourself some grace, because, again, you're just one person. There's many people out there that can be doing the same thing that you're thinking you could have done. And it's tough in those situations, because, again, we are our own worst enemy. And I'm sure everyone is harder on themselves than anyone else is. And I think that's just a natural thing. But at the same time, it's important to just like God, just like Christ, we all fall short of the glory of God. We're still forgiven, though. And I think that's part of being Christ-like. We've got to show other people love, but we also need to show that to ourselves.
Yeah.
At the same time, we need to forgive others just as Christ forgiven us. We need to forgive ourselves too.
Yeah, and I'll be quick to forgive others and slow to forgive myself.
Right.
It's like
it's hard, because and that's a lot of, you hold yourself accountable to the point, of, just kind of being overbearing with it. Yeah. Really.
You just have to manage expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're just human. We're not going to be perfect. We're going to do all we can do. We're going to struggle. We're going to do our best, and that's it. I mean,
it's a tough and dangerous kind of rabbit hole you can take yourself down with the, what if I did this? What if I did that? We won't ever know. Right. And that's, maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. We don't know. That's one thing that I struggle with. One of my best friends died back in 2013. We were super, super close in junior high and early in high school, and he moved away, and he got, he was running around with the wrong crowd and ended up doing something dangerous and got himself killed. And I'm thinking, what if I had reached out to him more, got him around me to where he wasn't doing so many stupid and dangerous things,
Yeah.
And because I remember the last time I spoke to him, I said, hey, come around more. Why didn't I try to open the door for myself and say, I'll come around more?
Right.
Yeah. And that's something I chose in the moment not to hang over my head, because I know it wasn't on me. Yes, I could have maybe we don't know. Maybe I could have made a difference.
Yeah.
But and that's the harsh reality of life is there's things that we just can't take back. We can't redo things. There's no do-overs. And there's many times we wish we could have done more, shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
But again, at the same time, we've got to extend some grace to ourselves.
Yeah.
Man, that is the problem with suicide is the people you leave behind just wondering why, wondering what could have been different, not knowing what he was going through. And please, to our listeners, if you're struggling, if you need somebody to talk to, please reach out to somebody. There are resources. Please find a family member, a friend, a pastor. Comment on here with your phone number on our page. We'll reach out to you. Please do not go through this alone.
Yeah. Do you want to sing the song again?
Lord,
no,
mercy.
I don't.
No. Okay. Well, I love y'all.
Love you, man.
Go ahead, Tyler. You want to sing it?
No, I really don't.
Hey, listeners, we just want to thank you for your continued support for the Almost Brothers podcast. Do us a favor and go to your favorite platform and rate us and like us and share with everyone that you know. Thank you so much. Love you.